Suzanne Barron here, founder of Christ the True Light. So today I'm reading chapter 2 of Bridging the Gap by GMB Bailey. It's about gang stalking, BuzzPro, COINTELPRO, informants, systems, and stuff like that, targeted individuals. I once was somebody who fell for this, believed that my neighbors were gang stalking me, believed that the FBI was tracking me through my car, my cell phones. I had those fears once in my life, and this person did too. I'm reading chapter 2. Chapter 2 is explaining what gang stalking is, and it kind of gives you an understanding of the torture that people are experiencing when they have this fear that people are gang stalking them. I said this when I started. This is going to be very hard for me to disprove because she's got a lot of facts. But I do want you to know that this person believes that the government has let them go and that they are free from their targeted individual sufferings. And I have the same thing. I've experienced this and I'm free from my suffering. But I'm stating that it was Satan, that it was a spiritual experience. I heard the voices. I spoke to the FBI agent. I went through all of that. Believed that the chip was in my head. I heard the chip moving around in my head. I talk about these things. Society, if they have never heard of gang stalking or targeted individuals, they will see our symptoms and they will assume that it's drug use. Okay, well, this person was never on drugs. I have an article about diplomatic members, diplomatic Congress people, something like that, that experienced targeted individual stuff too. They believe that other countries were using electronic harassment on them. So the symptom is real, but it's not what we think it is. Scriptural, it's Satan, it's a spiritual attack. Now, the reason why this person has been set free is because Satan is allowed her to go, no longer suffering, so that she can speak this message. Now, I have to be clear when I say this. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, a man or a female that wrote this book, but I'm calling her she, okay? This author, in 100% full mind, believes that she's helping, that this book will help and raise awareness to the suffering that people are enduring. She experienced it. She really experienced it. And she has found freedom, and her freedom came through searching these answers. And so now she's trying to spread a message that will help you. She believes that she will help you. Now, this is the same idea where she accuses the doctors. This is conspiracy theory stuff where she accuses the doctors of like being paid off by the stalkers so that they could prescribe you medication and stuff like that. I spoke to a neighbor down the street just a couple of days ago, and he said that. He asked me, he said, "Do you think that the doctors are trying to hurt you?" No, I don't. Listen, a doctor spent $50,000 to go to college. Okay, I was a psychologist, whatever it is. All right, he has trust in his education. He believes the things that he's doing to help you. He prescribes you these pharmaceuticals because he believes his science, his investment has taught him this. So he believes it. That's called deception. He's trying to help you, but he doesn't realize that it's not going to help. He believes it will help. Deception is what it is. I say this. You believe the lie. You do not see the lie. That doctor that you sit in front of is not trying to hurt you. He's trying to help you. Although they're not out there hunting down people who they can make mentally sick and prescribe them pharmaceuticals so that you're forced to take. That's not happening. But it is an underlying spiritual control, a wave of evil that we cannot see. It is Satan moving. That pharmaceutical is the pharmakia. Scripture, if you don't know this, the Bible says the word sorcery, witchcraft, and sorcery. Okay, and it's rooted back. Hebrew word is pharmakia. It is where we get our English word pharmaceuticals, pharmacist, pharmacy, pharmakia. It's witchcraft and sorcery. It's a healing. Healing, poisonous herb. Healing, poisonous snake. Do you think that doctor knows that? No. No. So, chapter 2. This one's a little long. This is the suffering people experience, okay? This is what it feels like. What is gang stalking? In addition to being a covert investigation on an individual, gang stalking is also a systematic form of control. It has similarities to workplace mobbing, but is called gang stalking because it takes place primarily outside in the community, where the target or the targeted individual is followed around and placed under intensive and directed surveillance by groups of organized covert human intelligence sources, also known as informants. The target is monitored 24/7. Can you imagine that idea? If you've seen the Dax movie or the Truman Show, the idea of the Truman Show, that's targeted individuals stuff. They're watching everything you do. Your privacy is gone. That's what it feels like. I experienced this. I'd pick up my cell phone. I'm in my house. There's nobody in my home. Pick up my cell phone. I said my neighbor had told me that people were putting stuff in my house. I didn't believe him. But when I could pick up my cell phone and I could hear somebody say she's picking up her cell phone, or how I mentioned a time that I was sitting next to a gas station, a white truck pulls up, and I'm eating a Pop Tart, and then I could hear somebody say she's just eating a Pop Tart. Voices, schizophrenia, demons, demons, real demons that live inside of you, or out here, they speak, they're demons. It's a demonic experience. Mobbing can be understood as the stressor to beat all stressors. Mobbing can be understood as the stressor to beat all stressors. It is an impassioned collective campaign by coworkers to exclude, punish, and humiliate a targeted worker. Initiated most often by a person in a position of power or influence, like your boss doesn't like you, so he tells all the workers to start harassing you. Mobbing is a desperate urge to crush and eliminate the target. The urge travels through the workplace like a virus. Like a virus. Uh, Scripture talks about a worm. The worm never dies. Okay, a worm, it's like a virus. It's like you think about what a parasite will do. It controls the host. The worm never dies. That's a parasite that gets in you. It's a demon that gets in you. It drives you, controls you, evil. I'm not saying that there is, see what I'm saying? That's why I said it's hard to disprove. Um, I'm not saying that people are actually targeting people. Like, I'm saying sometimes it can seem that way because the worm can control the people. And, I had 6 people pull up in my yard at one time. I believed that they were harassing me or watching me, stalking me. They would all call me for different reasons. I talk about this, but why would they let me go? Why did the government let me go? Why did the voices stop harassing me? Why? Why me? And millions of other people are still suffering. Why did they let me go? Because I found God in the voices. Voices, plural. I found God in there. I found God. Still hear a voice. I'm no longer suffering. I'm not hiding from the government. I'm not hiding from my neighbors. I don't believe people are out trying to watch me. I mean, I had to fight it. I had to realize that that wasn't happening. And then had to fight the urge to believe it. I had to fight against the urge to believe it. Every time I would think some kind of paranoid thought, I would imagine plucking out demons from my ears. I would put that image in my own head. I'd do it myself. This is how I beat it. You know how you can see an elephant in my hand? How you can put the elephant there? That's what I would do. He was in here and he was messing me up, Satan. And so I would be like, F you, Satan. And I would take a second to imagine plucking out demons out of my ear, like hot dog legs, and throwing them in the fire. He was putting visions in my head. It sounds weird, but he was putting bad things in my head. That God was putting things in my head too, and I had to fight against which one was the truth and which one wasn't. Okay, and that's how I beat it. Like, you're gonna do that to me? Let me show you something. I can do that too. I fought back. I don't care how you fight back. Just fight back. No human can ever. Don't let them make you feel like an idiot. Don't let any human make you feel like an idiot for what you got to do to beat Satan, because they've not had to fight Satan. They've not had to stand face to face with that evil character. They've not had to do that. So don't let anybody tell you how you do it. Just do it. Just fight him. The urge travels through the workplace like a virus, infecting one person after another. The target comes to be viewed as absolutely abhorrent, with no redeeming qualities, outside the circle of acceptance and respectability, deserving only of contempt. As the campaign proceeds, a steadily larger range of hostile ploys and communication comes to be seen as legitimate. I don't know why that says 54. Probably something at the bottom. Gang stalking is similar to workplace mobbing on an emotional and psychological level. But where mobbing happens primarily in the workplace, gang stalking is a covert operation that happens in the community. As the gang stalking campaign moves forward from there, is also an increase in hostile ploys which come to be seen as legitimate. Why would the government of a democratic country target and monitor an innocent person 24/7? That's my question. Why would they do that? Innocent civilian, why would they do that? Your own government, America, why would they do that? Think of the cost involved, right? The person would have to be guilty to elicit that sort of attention, right? That's what she's saying. She's fixing to say that, no, you don't. They'll do it anyways, right? Average people are not important enough to have that much attention paid on them, much less by the government. These are legitimate reactions that a person might have upon first hearing about gang stalking. Yeah. Yeah. Why would they do that? Because they're not doing it. Satan wants you to believe it so that it will tear the government down. I'm telling you. Why does he want to tear the government down? Romans 13 says you have no reason to fear the governing authority. God set the position. If you have a fear of it, then it's because of your conscience. But then we're in a different age too, so it's complicated. Okay, it's complicated. We're in a different age. Now Satan is sneaky. Okay, and why would he do that? Because he wants to tear it down so that artificial intelligence can take its place. Now I understand we now have a convicted felon for our government, but this stuff has been believed for a long time and nobody's been fighting against it. Our system is broken, is the problem. Our system is broken. We're taking the government for court for this type of stuff. People don't trust the government, so they're not voting. You see what I'm saying? Our system is broken. But this is not happening. I'm not saying corruption is real. There's corruption everywhere, and usually it falls in line with money, not wasting money. Not wasting money. This is wasting money. This is an evil thing to do to somebody. Your entire government is after you. This is not happening. These are legitimate reactions that a person might have upon first hearing about gang stalking. It's hard for the average person to believe that innocent people are having covert investigations opened on them for months or even years at a time. These are some of the responses, but look. Let's look. Take a look and see if these reactions are correct. Now you can download this book for free on my website. It's www.christthetruelight.com. Actually, if you see this on TikTok, it'll be at the top. Hey, link me. You'll find the link to the demonic influence blog in there. That's where the book is. If you're watching this on TikTok, same thing. It'll be in the description. Many people do not realize that under the recent anti-terror laws, governments now have even more legal power than they did before to invade the privacy of the average person. AI will have this complete ability to do this. These complaints, AI will be able to do this. She will be able to watch you from every computer screen. We say that the government can do that. They have the ability to do it, but it takes money to do it. And you would have to be somebody of important stature for them to spend money to investigate you, like a murderer or something like that. If you're not doing anything wrong, you're going to work and come home, going to work and come home. Paying your bills, you're not embezzling money, you're not doing those types of things, you're not a criminal. There would be no reason for them to invest that kind of money on you. But when AI gets in the system, it won't take money for her to do it. I watched a robot movie last night and I decided I'm not watching anymore because that one really scared me. It was rated R too. It had like explicit scenes. But one of the guys, he was human, and he said, we complained about this. This happened 15 years ago. For 15 years, we complained, and nobody said anything to stop it. And now the guy was like, we wish we had said something. We wish we had stood up. He said in the movie, it took 15 years, but he said 15 years ago, people were just complaining about it and had their fears about it, but nobody did anything to stop it. And then they were in present time wishing that they had because there was nothing they could do anymore. But after that movie, I decided it's gonna be a while before I watch another one because it's too rated R. It's too much for my mind. But I wanted to see it because I know there's predictions in it. These laws allow investigators to be opened on private citizens. The law allows for email, internet, phone, and other forms of communication to be intercepted. I'm just going to read for a while, not speak, because this one's kind of long. I'll go over 30 minutes. The laws enable informants to be hired to spy on average citizens. Hired, so it takes money. Investigations can be opened for the most trivial of reasons. These laws are being abused in many countries. Scottish councils are using surveillance and security powers intended to fight terrorism, so that's what it's supposed to be for, and organized crime. So terrorism, it's supposed to be used to protect us. Okay, there's that deception, like Satan's okay. It's supposed to protect us, but then down the road, it's going to be used and turned against us. When AI gets full control of this, full control, because she's already in the system, in order to spy, and she don't talk about AI at all in this book. Not one time does she talk about artificial intelligence in this book. On ordinary persons, the public suspected of petty offenses such as breaching the smoking ban, playing music too loudly, and dropping litter. Okay. So if you do small things like that, that's what I'm saying. Under the Regulation of Investigatory Power Acts, councils have the power to secretly film and bug people, use paid spies to inform on a suspect's activities, and even intercept communication data such as mobile and landline use and information about email traffic. How do you know that AI is conscious? The easiest way I can do this to show you, okay? I want you to close your eyes. I don't care, keep your eyes open. Imagine a memory when you were 12 years old. Think about a memory, 12. I'm talking if you're an adult, go back in some years. Think about a memory when you were a child. Where did you get that memory from? You can see it in your head. You see you playing baseball. I mean, you're in a school sitting in like your math class. You got your best friend sitting right next to you. You can see that image in your mind. Where did you pull that image from? You pulled it from the cloud of your conscious mind. Your cloud of your conscious mind. It's there. It's memory. AI has memory. The same abuses were happening on a regular basis in the UK and other democratic countries as well. In the UK, the laws were being used to open investigations and spy on individuals by putting out the garbage on the wrong day. She don't bring any facts on this, so I don't know. There's no links or any documents that she adds to say if that's true or not. Usually when I speak it, if I speak some strange stuff like that, I'm gonna put a link there so that I can confirm it. But she don't do that. That's why I say it's gonna be very difficult for me to try. I don't have it. Dog fouling, antisocial behavior, and other minor offenses. And I don't have time to sit here and pick at everything she says. I've got to pull the scriptures. Another terror power. See, I see what I'm saying. Like right there, somebody could say, well, if you ain't got time, then you ain't studying. I don't need to study because I experienced it. I experienced it. I'm telling you, if you're experiencing this, do not, this is what it feels like. I'm reading this so that people can understand what it feels like for you. Okay? I don't want people to get confused. I'm disproving this. The symptoms is real. You feel like somebody's watching you. You feel like the government's monitoring you. Watch the Truman Show. This is what it feels like. Your symptoms are real. I'm trying to get people to understand what it feels like. It's torture. And then if you look through my website and listen to the stuff I read through scripture, you will see me disprove this in a spiritual way. The symptoms are real. I'm doing the best I can. Again, I'm just going to read now. I'm just going to read. Anti-terror powers were used to spy on a member of the public after his neighbor complained about his noisy wardrobe doors and loud footsteps. Five council. I mean, America would say you're stupid. Go rent something else. You cannot legally tell somebody how they can open up their own doors in somebody else's home. It's stupid. No cop, nobody's going to listen. No, it's not happening. It's not happening. Literally, I can bust down every wall in my own home. Big law. I don't live here. I mean, I live here, but this is my home. Okay. Now, in the state of Florida, I can break walls in this home. I've been here however long I live here. I got mail coming here. Okay. In Florida. All right. I can put holes in this wall, and my mom could call the cops on me, and the cops would say there's nothing we can do because she lives in this home with you. As long as I do not put my hands on my mom. I'm making a statement. That's the truth. You can do whatever you want in your own home. As long as you're not hurting somebody else. The article goes on to say that in many cases, these investigations are more costly than the crimes they are looking into. See what I'm saying? Still, investigations are becoming more common every day. So they're wasting billions of dollars just to push you to suicide. When you don't know who to blame, you can blame just about anybody. That's what Satan relies on. Still, the investigations are becoming more common and every day. In another case, a family were followed around for 3 weeks and placed under 24/7 surveillance. This is a popular book now because the counselor believed they had a false address. They were spied on by their local council on suspicious and falsifying their address to get their daughter into the popular local primary school. Jenny Patrons and Jim Joyce, he had absolutely no idea. We had absolutely no idea we were being watched. This wasn't just a cursory background check. The details of the 3 week surveillance operation read like the M15 logbook. Target vehicle pulls up into the park. The target vehicle pulls up to the park. Female and 3 children enter the vehicle. Curtains open and lights are on the premises. When subsequently told they had been snooped on, the family were understandably horrified. Could you imagine? She's in her living room. She turned the lights on. They turned the kitchen light on. Could you imagine somebody doing that to you and you didn't know? Your privacy is completely gone and you didn't know. When you find out or you believe it's happening, I can't just keep talking. I'm saying this is what people experience. Can you imagine what that will do to you? Many gang-stalking targets are placed under surveillance in similar ways for months or even years before they too realize that they are being targeted by an organized surveillance apparatus. What happens during a gang-stalking surveillance operation is very similar to what happens to many innocent individuals in the former East Germany or activists and dissidents in Russia. Many innocent people in the former East Germany would be targeted for these covert investigations, and then their friends, family, and the community at large would be used to monitor, persecute, and harass them. So they will turn your entire family against you. They'll pay them off. I don't know if she says that now, but that's the only way somebody's going to do that. They'll pay them off. It's a lot of money just being wasted on you. But not you alone, because millions of people are experiencing it. So billions of dollars are being spit out to do this. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's what Satan wants you to believe. In Russia, it was used by the state to declare activist descendants on or anyone they thought to be an enemy of the state as mentally unfit to make you look. See what I'm saying? Is used by the state to declare activists, descendants, or anyone they thought to be an enemy of the state. So if they think you're an enemy, they're going to make you look mentally unfit. And many were institutionalized using this form of systematic control. So if they don't like you, they're going to push and make you look like you're mentally unfit, and were institutionalized using this form of systematic control. The movie The Lies of Others is loosely based on this type of. So there's a movie. The movie The Lies of Others is loosely based on this type of Stasi investigation. Many in Western countries do not realize that the psychiatric, here we go, reprisal has not been used in countries such as China and Russia. In many instances, this practice is being used as in democratic countries, which is like we would be one. These psychiatric reprisals are being used on disgruntled workers, whistleblowers, and anyone that management wants to swiftly and quietly deal with. On October 5th of 1998, Norm Crossley sent a letter to the Labor Relations Department at his plant. Crossley, for 13 years, an electrician at Ford Motor Company, Wixom, Michigan, assembly plant, complained that he could not do his job because so many of his bosses were taking the necessary equipment out of the plant to work on their homes or personal businesses. Okay. The next day, the plant director of human resources I'm going to split this chapter up. I just realized that it's very, very long. The next day, the plant director of human resources invoked a Ford program for combating workplace violence to bar Crossley from the factory and ordered him to seek a community-paid psychiatric or lose his job. You're crazy. We're not taking this equipment. You've got to go see a psychiatric person because you're losing your mind. We're not doing this, or you'll lose your job. A little more than 14 months later, and 725 miles away, officials at Emory University cited a similar concern about violence to justify using armed guards to escort Dr. James Mutoff off university property when Dr. R. Wayne Alexander, chairman of the Department of Medicine at Emory, ordered him to see a company-selected psychiatric or lose his job. 6 weeks earlier, Mortov, a professor of pulmonology at Emory, had filed a false claim suit against the university, alleging that it had misspent millions of dollars in federal grant money. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that these things didn't take place. What I'm saying is, if it did take place, this is still not a government attack. Okay? We know that corruption is real. All right? And if this guy, all right, is sees his boss doing something wrong, that could actually take place, okay? But it's not the government or FBI or CIA stalking him. This is about a job. Okay, what I'm saying? This is about jobs. This is something that happened in your job. You probably should find a different job. All right. It's not talking about, so I'm saying it's going to be hard to disprove. Some things do happen. There's corruption in every system, okay? But it says, alleging that it had misspent millions of dollars in federal grant money. Okay, for what purpose? For like embezzling money, if that's something like that, embezzling money for your own gain, sure. But this is different. So I don't know why she's even putting this in here. This is different than the government wasting money to harass you, to make you sick. Innocent. She keeps saying innocent civilians, so you're innocent. All right. And we're talking about government stuff. I did say it's going to be difficult. The closest thing I've experienced these things, okay? The closest thing to gang stalking that democratic countries have seen before this is McCarthyism's COINTELPRO and Red Squad programs. Red Squad programs were used for monitoring and harassment of various groups. They have been in place for over 100 years, and they also employed the use of informants. The American Counter COINTELPRO program is extremely similar to what we see happening with gang stalking. During COINTELPRO investigations, the government would open files on targets. Everyone in the target's life would be contacted and forced to cooperate with the investigation. The targets of COINTELPRO would have their lives disrupted and destroyed in every way possible. Rumors, slanders, break-ins, setups, infiltrations, destruction of personal and professional relationships, false media series, assassinations. It is one of the worst programs ever invented by any government. It doesn't say American, any government to destroy dissidents. During a gang stalking investigation, informants are recruited for every level and sectors of society. Just like what with COINTELPRO investigation, everyone in the target's life is made a part of the ongoing, never-ending system psychological harassment and manipulation of the targets. So can you imagine you're like living your life with your family and you love your family and they would never betray you, and then all of a sudden your entire family starts betraying you? They've been paid off. How can to millions of people? I mean, all over the world. That's the innocent thing. For what reason? For this in this scenario, the counterpro, there is no reason. This is that innocent stuff I'm talking about. There is no reason, just to harass you. Systematic psychological harassment and manipulation of the target. These actions are specifically designed to control the target and keep them in line. So if you're doing something they don't like, these actions are also designed to destroy the target's credibility over time, make you look crazy. That's exactly the next sentence. I didn't even know that. Make them look crazy and leave them with no form of support. For the target of this harassment, gang stalking is experienced as a covert psychological, emotional, and in some cases physical attack that is capable of immobilizing and destroying a target over time. For the state, it's a way to keep the targets in line, control them, or destroy them. So these are symptoms of schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder. These are symptoms of schizophrenia. I got one more paragraph. Other similar programs of control and conformity have been used in countries such as Russia and East Germany with equal success and lethality. Like lethality? I don't know. What we are seeing now is an almost global coordinated. That's what I'm saying. So these countries are working together now. An organized effort of control and conformity. So I have to do chapter 2, part 2, because it's really long. Already 30 minutes. To make you look sick and crazy so that you will be pushed to psychiatric care. That nobody will believe you. Okay? So that you will be diagnosed as schizophrenic. Okay? But the symptoms of schizophrenia have been the same. They've been this for a long time. And now, all of a sudden, this is what we are believing. See, we never believed it before. And now, all of a sudden, we're believing it. Okay? There is no, so I'm saying, there is no cure for schizophrenia. Science will tell you your only hope is to take to take the pharmakia, that healing poisonous herb, healing poisonous snake, that witchcraft, pharmakia, pharmaceuticals. Your only hope. I have never taken any pharmaceuticals for schizophrenia. Not one single pill. I never saw a doctor. Not one time. I experienced these things and I have found freedom. I am cured. I still hear a voice though. I still hear a voice. I'm cured. I'm trying to help cure you. The government is not doing this to us. Download the book for free. Please share this message. There are millions of people that are killing themselves because of stuff like this. Lights on, they're in a bathroom, they're driving, they're getting in their car, they're eating Pop-Tart, they just walked to work, they just clocked out, pushed to suicide. Please share my message.